Today we have a 2013 Malibu LTZ. It's got the Ecotech 4-cylinder motor in it. They had it in, getting the oil changed, and where they're having it serviced, they said the front brake pads look bad. So we're going to show you where those are located and how to replace them. Once you get your car jacked up, we get it up on the hoist, of course. What you're going to do is remove these 7/8 and remove the tire and rim. Once we get the tire and rim off, the tire, sometimes if it doesn't want to come off, leave one of the lug nuts halfway off and then tunk the tire from the back. That way it won't go flying across the room or whatever. But then you can break it loose and then you remove the tire or the lug nut and take the tire off. So what we do once we get this done, now we spin it at this angle so it's easier to get at. Pivot it back like that. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is remove this 13 right here. We're just using a ratchet today. Take this off. My helper's on another vacation, so I'm trying to do it one-handed here, but at least it'll give you an idea how to do this. Okay, we'll remove that. Now that 13 is out down here, when you go to lift it, it doesn't want to move. That's because this puck right here, your piston is actually catching on it. So very careful. You don't want to hit the rubber that's right here, otherwise you'll wreck your caliper. You just kind of put a little pressure on that piston, push it back nice and gently. And if that doesn't go back gently, you might have problems with your caliper, but this is going back nice and easy like that. Once you do that, now all of a sudden you can lift it up nice and easy. When you put your pads on, once you replace it with new ones, the brake indicator or squeaker, whatever people want to call it, is on this side. You can see these are almost wore out. This is what, if it starts squeaking, it tells you it's time to put pads on. So you want to make sure this is on the same side and this other side does not have one. So you just want to look at that before you start putting them together. Depends on the, if you get a cheap set of pads, the medium grades or the better platinums, a lot of times they will give you these with it. Sometimes these deteriorate. If they're in okay condition, you don't have to replace them. But, you know, if they give them to you with the pads, you might as well do it. So we're going to replace these top and bottom and then push our puck back all the way and install our new pads. Okay, so if these are supplied with it, all you have to do on these, if they're not too corroded, sometimes you just fall right apart, but these are in pretty good shape yet. Take that one off, put the new one right on, and it pretty much just clips right in just like that. That's all it takes to do that. We'll do that on the top. Once those new ones are installed, now we'll install our pads. I'll start with the outside first, then put the inside pad on. That squeaker or brake pad indicator is in the same spot. And sometimes if they're not in the same spot, if you put it on and it's in a different spot, it might rub or make a noise. So it's nice when you can get the exact same thing. Just make sure you put it in the right position. You should be fine. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my piston back or my puck back, whatever you want to call it. It's got to go that smooth right there. If it's not going nice and easy like that, then you might have something wrong with your caliper. But we're going to push this back till it's flush. I'm using the old pad in between there to give you something to push on. It's almost there. Okay, it's flush. Now that my piston is pushed all the way back, I'm going to grease these up with this, which, like I said, my partner is gone right now, so it's I'm going to use this lube, grease the heck out of this one, and the one that's down below down here, and then reassemble it. But before I do that, I'm also going to put some disc brake white on here, which will be red, but I'll show you that when I'm doing it. It's just kind of tough to do it with one hand. This is the disc brake quiet we spray on here, this side and this side, and you want to make sure, you know, I lubed both these, this one and the top one. And just if these slide pins work properly, your pads will last a lot longer. Now this is lubed up. You can see how well it's lubed. Just get that. It's got to slide that well. Put this down like that. And now what's hitting is this up here on top. So I got to get a screwdriver and lift that up so it clears it. So sometimes when you're pushing it down like that, if it's binding, it's catching on this little metal piece. You just got to make sure it lifts above there like that. And then last thing we have to do is push this over. It falls right into place, and we put our bolt in. So if you didn't see it, that right there, and then you come down here, and we're going to put our bolt in down here. Tighten this up and reinstall the wheel and tire. So this is tight, Make sure that your brake line isn't twisted in any way. And the last thing we do is put on the tire. The last thing we do is install the tire, tighten up in a crossing pattern like that, and then double check it when it hits the ground. And that's all it takes to do front pads on a 2013 Chevy Malibu LTZ with an Ecotec motor.